Welcome in, readers. I am Ook, and this is yet another episode of the Chill Pill. We had a heck of a weekend this past weekend with two DRMC tournaments. I honestly was supposed to spend the whole weekend like reading for some stuff at work and did none of that because I was too busy watching them, and managed to talk one of our winners from the weekend in. So welcome in, Rodzilla. How's it going?
Good, good. Glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Of course. Dave Smith, with the assist on here, he was like, I get a message in between matches. Like Dave was still active in the tournament, and he's like, "Hey, did my stream run short, or is there something wrong with it?" He he's in there watching his own streams of the Chill Pill, and turns out it's because he was trying to talk Rod into checking it out and now being on it. So gotta thank DSS for the assist. Turns out my stream did cut out in the middle of his, and I had only transferred one part. So thankfully we got that situated. So yeah, Milwaukee. I knew you were from around Wisconsin because JB had mentioned it on stream, but I didn't realize how close you were to the event itself.
Yeah, it's nice. I've been going to the Midwest Gaming Classic for years now, just to attend. Last year when they announced that they were actually going to do it, the Dr. Roy tournament there, it was great. Because I was going to go anyways. Why not get some Dr. Mario in with it? So yeah, I'm glad that they started doing it there, and hopefully they continue to have one there in the future.
Yeah, I think where Tetris goes, Dr. Mario will try to follow if we can. I forget who won the Milwaukee last year.
Ibar
Ibar.
won it
Okay,
last year.
I kind of had that
Yeah,
in the back
it
of my
was
mind, but
yeah, it was Ibar versus Dawn last
whew,
year in the finals.
that's that's always going to be a tough matchup in verses. Ibar's
Yeah.
a beast.
So,
Uh,
so
yeah. So you said, let's see, last year was the first one. Um, I mentioned this as we were kind of in the green room ahead of time. Not a lot of players may be familiar with you because, I mean, you've been at the national tournament. Now you've been at a couple of regionals. Tell us though, same question I usually ask anybody, regardless of how familiar everybody is with them. But tell us how you got into Dr. Mario in the first place. You know, did you play it as a child? Have you played it? Yeah, did you pick it up as an adult? And then how you got into the scene itself.
yeah, so I played. I mean, I've always had a Nintendo growing up, and then in high school started to play it a lot. And there was a group of friends in high school that we would play versus quite a bit. And then if there wasn't anybody around, you'd play singles. And I remember me and a friend were kind of racing to see who could beat level 20 first, and then it was how far could you make it. And then I remember he was the first one to beat level 24, and he was disappointed there was no cutscene after beating it. So um, yeah, I would say high school is when I really got into playing it. And then after high school, everybody kind of went parted ways, and I played it by myself quite a bit, just as something to do, after the bars or something, but never never competitively after that. Um, until got into the scene here. The way I learned about the tournaments and this is I would just kind of randomly Google Dr. Mario tournaments. Um, in 2019, um, the YouTube video, I think it was the one where DM Hero won in Washington.
Okay.
Um, well, I watched that video of the tournament, and then from there I kind of got linked to the prior year's championships. So I was ready to go in 2020. I was
Oh
ready to
no.
go to Pittsburgh at the time.
Hmm.
I think they were there was a retro. I think they were in July, right around the 4th of July. Either must have been the week after. So we were ready to go, and then obviously that one got postponed and had to be done on the Switch. Um, so I didn't get to attend until 2021. But
Gotcha.
um, it gave me an extra year to kind of practice and get a little bit better before I actually attended a live event.
Did you weren't able to do the Switch one?
I did not own a Switch. I still don't.
Okay.
So, and I wasn't, I was like, I would have had to like bought one and then familiarize myself with it. And I just,
Right.
with me, it's the path of least resistance type of thing. So it's like, it's a lot of work. I'll just wait till next year type of.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah, and I don't know about you. I was playing on it last night on the Switch, just sitting next to my wife. She was playing Dragon Age on the PS5, so I just had the Switch with me, and I was sitting on the couch with her, and I pulled up Dr. Mario, and I just playing level 20, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. This is really hard to control on the Switch, because if you grew up playing with it on the NES, it's such a different experience. So you probably dodged a bullet there.
yeah, yeah. So no, I've only played it. I think when we did the mind merge, that one of the night before tournaments. That's the only time I've ever used the Switch version.
That was 23 at the bar.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, okay. That was an interesting tournament. I came in late for that one, so I basically Dave hadn't signed up yet, so he and I just got partnered together. We tried.
Yeah, yeah, I did not do. I was uh the downfall of our team because again, I didn't understand how to use even the side that I
Who'd you
had.
get paired
So
with?
I think it was me and Betty, if I'm
Oh,
remembering
well,
correctly.
there you go. So yeah, we always talk about people being neighborhood good. So it's interesting hearing about. Clearly, you had one of the better neighborhoods if you were able to get to this point with just having played verses with your friends in high school. That's Yeah, you need to grab some of those friends and bring them into a tournament sometime.
I've been trying to get one of them back at the guy I used to play with the most because he actually lives up by Don Veneer so I've been trying to get him to join and play but he's got other priorities now.
I mean, there's you, there's Dawn, there's Ibar. I mean, Wisconsin is just a hotbed of Dr. Mario action, apparently.
Well, Ibar's from Michigan. He
Oh,
lives in
right, right.
Michigan.
He is from Michigan. I had him confused with somebody else I know who's from Appleton. That's my mistake.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
no,
there's JB
yeah.
JB a couple other guys. There's Hot Rod
Oh, I didn't realize Hot Rod was
also lives
local
in
too.
yeah, he lives in Milwaukee as well.
Yeah, and I keep forgetting JB moved back because I've known him, in Oregon and in wherever it was he just was, Philly, I think. So the fact that he's back in Milwaukee or in the areas, I keep forgetting. But yeah, I mean, it must have something to do with the not being able to go outside 6 months out of the year.
I think that's what it is. It's my two hobbies are this and table tennis. So
Well, there you go. Yeah, I lived with a Michigander in college, and I was just like, "What do you mean? You guys did some really stupid." Okay, it's because you had 9 months out of the year to plan things, and then only three to pull them off. Got it. Okay, that all makes sense now. I have the opposite problem. I live in Florida where it's cold 2 weeks out of the year, but at least 3 months it's so hot you can't go outside.
yeah,
So
for sure.
different times. All right, so that's how you got into the scene. Let's see, you started in 21, and I know you've made what, two top fours at nationals?
I've made three. So
Three.
the first
Okay.
3 years I went, yeah, I made top four. Last year was a bad year for me. I was out, I think, round two of the Milwaukee tournament, and then I lost to Luke in the top 16 last year at the championship. So didn't have a really good year last year for light tournaments.
I mean, having called Luke's match against Leviticus and seen what all he did, I'd say that's not something to, that's not a bad thing. Luke is a heck of a
No,
player.
no, he's a great player.
I
Well,
always, my goal at any tournament I attend is I want to lose to somebody I know. I don't want to lose to walk ups. We love our walk ups, but you know what? I want to lose to somebody whose name I know. And the last two tournaments I've been to, it's been Dave Smith, so I'm okay with that. Although it
yeah,
did,
yeah. Prior to Luke, I lost to Ibar twice, and I lost to so Ibar the first year I went to the Nationals, and then in Milwaukee, and then I lost to Swang twice.
yeah,
So those
it's good players. So tell me about your practice. You know, you said you'd had some time to get kind of get yourself ready. Did you have versus somebody to play versus with, or do you just kind of play the speed and hope for the best, or you know what's practice look like for you in the pre-fight Kate era?
So yeah, so before Fightcade, so I just got Fightcade in October,
Well,
so
there you go.
right before the tournament. So I didn't play on it a lot before the tournament because I didn't want it to kind of throw me off. So prior to that, I was just doing the speed runs. So I was either doing 0 to 30 speed runs and just kind of tracking myself, or I was doing I just time myself doing 20 to 24. Um, I do that more. I've always even when I before kind of even trying to do tournaments, I would just play level 20 high and just play it over and over again. That was kind of how I used to play when I was just for fun type of thing. So I do the level 20 through 24 and time it. And then obviously just, kind of keep an idea of what was a pretty decent time for myself. So,
I don't
um,
I don't know if you
and then
met
the,
him.
the 0 to 30. Oh, what was that?
I was gonna say I don't know if you met him last year at the national tournament, but there's actually somebody from I believe California whose screen name is level 20 high. That's what he does is just run through like 50 times through level 20 to 24 just to keep going as much as he can. He made the bracket and was had to leave early, but it seems like you two could really have some fun racing those.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, before learning about the tournaments and stuff, it was more, there was no speed running involved. It was literally just to play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but since trying to be more competitive, I started to time myself. And then the 0 to 30 runs were more just to see kind of where I would be,
Mm-hmm.
especially before I'd gone to a tournament. Kind of just like a level set as to what, kind of where I'd rank and what I would expect to kind of be before going to my first one. So
I always say that Dr. Mario itself is not that fun of a game, but once you add the competitive elements of either playing with somebody in versus mode or uh, trying to figure it out as a speed game, that's when it really takes on. It just goes to another level. I don't think I ever would have gotten as deeply into this game if there weren't a competitive scene. So that's really cool. You know, you've mentioned speedrunning a couple of times. Do you have a time on the SRC boards, or have you are you considering doing so?
so I have no times. I've never even posted a qual. Like I said, I I never did speedrunning before and I didn't really obviously it wasn't really a thing when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So I do last when Don came out, we drove together to last tournament. He set up everything for me. So this year I am planning to try to join one. and just trying to find a month that works. I think I've got everything set up. I'll have to actually ask Don um, what I need to do to get it all right because he showed
Right.
me, and then you have not used it in 6 months now. So,
Yeah, OBS feels
um,
like it's held together by duct tape and baling wire at the best of times. So
yeah,
I get that.
yeah. So, and I think, and I had just gotten Fightcade working right before then, and I'm on that probably more than I should be now. Um, it's gonna get me fired one of these days. But yeah, I'm on that quite a bit.
We won't tell your boss.
I'm yeah, yeah.
Well, I feel like
So, but that's taken my I feel like that's taken my game to a whole nother level since I started playing that.
we've got a scoop here. I mean, the fact that you're interested in coming in for a speed and are planning to do one this year, that's big news. The whole community is going to be excited about that. So that's really cool.
Yeah. Now I got to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great forum to go ahead and challenge yourself to something to make it
Yeah.
happen. So that's great. And yeah, towards the end of what you were saying, I really think that speed and verses help each other. It's we get players, we talk about having a versus pedigree and a versus play style, and even when we're watching versus, we'll talk about players who tend to play more of a speed based game. I think the best players are the ones who can figure out when it's the right time to do which, and that's in both sides. In speed, sometimes you've got to be one of those combo hounds that really puts something big together. And in verses, sometimes you got to recognize, hey, it's time for me to just blast through to the bottom of this board while my opponent is kind of stuck at the top. So yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think you're right that it doesn't matter which side you're doing, you're going to improve both sides of your game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think I used to before Fightcade, I was I was more um I say I was kind of a mix between speed and burst style. I played more um kind of just try to clear as clean as possible was my
Mm-hmm.
style. And I feel like that's changed a bit in the last 6 months, just to kind of keep up with the newer players.
Yeah, it kind of has to when you're playing versus that. We always talk because most of our commentators are primarily speed commentators because we do so much more of that than we do versus. But we'll talk about having a clean top line, having a cleaner board. But especially in your mid game, when I'm noticing now, it's the players with the clean boards that I go, oh, they're not ready, because it's the ones with a bit of mess on their board. They're the ones who are preparing for a lot. And that whole the saying I've got of there's no such thing as garbage. There's just combos you haven't found yet. That's it seems to really be a thing, and that's an issue I've found in my own versus game.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of the really good players they have that style where they live at the top of the board.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they're just comfortable and whether they get away from that or top their other player out, it doesn't matter. Eventually, they start to make their way down, but I feel like there's a couple players that they doesn't matter where, as long as that top line is right at the stays kind of at that maybe a one or two viruses down level, they could stay there the whole match, and rain garbage on you the whole time.
Yeah, I think
And that's
two good examples of that. You've got DM Hero, who is kind of the master of the quick kill, and then you've got Barrett, who is trying to make hyper tapping a thing in the community, and quit it. It's not going to be a thing in the community. Uh, but
he's got him and Don Veneer does a little bit of tapping.
I mean, his goal, and we saw this on Sunday. His goal is just to get the speeds up and outlast his opponent because he knows he can make moves in more he's got more board open for himself later in the game, so it doesn't really matter to him how high up he stays. He can kind of move things around, and he, I mean, it works for him because he used that to win 2 tournaments last year. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
it's different.
Yeah, you have to just if you're gonna play that style, you have to be obviously really good at either not making mistakes or if you do improvising as ways to clean it up. Um, so I feel like I do better kind of playing at the top, but it's not somewhere I prefer to be.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely be taking a look at some of that. Um, Gosh, this Milwaukee was a trip to watch. So I'm glad to be talking about it. Um, so let's talk a little bit about the way it was laid out. Of course, pool play, 4 players, best of 3 in round robin mode. 11 medium is not a level setup I think we've seen in a tournament before. I don't know if that's what you guys did last year in Milwaukee, but I know it's not one that I remember ever seeing.
So I think this was used as more as like a play-in pool, kind of like a qualifier.
Mm-hmm.
So last year we did 11 medium, but it was just for qualifying and seeding
Mm-hmm.
for the tournament. So again, these were 4-player round robin play-ins, and then they did top 8. Whereas last year I think it was a 16 person tournament is what was run.
Yeah, I got the impression there.
So yeah,
Go ahead.
I was just say this year it was a little different. I think JB kind of had ownership as to how he wanted to run the tournament. So it was a little bit different than when what Chris did last year.
And I think on top of that, it sounded like you guys were kind of up against the end of the day by the time it was over. So it might have been that he was just trying to get everything done and get it finished up,
It
which
could have been. Yep.
might explain the eight player qualifiers. But regardless, it was an interesting day to say the least. Um, I, I will say I was floored when I heard your qualifying pool announced.
Me too. I was like, really?
That
So, and I was watching. I was still kind of outside waiting to get in when DSS was playing. So we both almost didn't even make the top 8. So that would have been interesting to have both him and I at a tournament and not really make it to the main bracket.
Yeah, I have feelings about Hot Rod not making it, but that's a whole nother story. And we will get to see you play Hot Rod here in a bit. But yeah, I mean, it was you. It's Hot Rod who, as most of the viewers will know, just took over um, the Virus Busters League. So that's, I mean, definitely a player with some versus pedigree. And then Josiah, somebody I didn't really know ahead of time, but I did see, like, he'd posted a picture in the Discord when he had arrived at the event. So I was like, okay, this is somebody who at least is familiar with the group. I didn't get to see who Steve was. He never got put up on the screen, but that was a tough pool.
Yeah, I didn't I guess Josiah had played last year. I didn't remember. I don't think I played against him. I know he made the top 16 last year and he said he lost to Ibar.
Okay, well, I
So,
mean, that
um uh,
there you go.
yeah. So,
Yeah, the chat reminded me what chat reminded us in during the tournament in real time that Josiah is a big Fightcade player,
okay.
and that
I have yet to play him.
that's a whole scene. I dabble in Fightcade, and it's just like everything else. If it's not original hardware, it feels funny to me. So I play it a little bit, but overall, I'm just yeah. But there's some really dedicated Fightcade players who don't play anywhere else, And I think some of them are like Josiah getting ready to start sniping in on some real tournaments and are probably going to start making a big splash.
Yeah. Yep. I think there. I mean, yeah, there are a lot of really good players on there. That have either started to go to tournaments or everybody kind of tries to talk them into coming. So
Yeah, that actually happened with us last month in Louisville. We had Coop come in. Everybody knew him because he's on Fightcade all the time.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Coop and I play quite a bit. Him and I probably play him the most out of anybody on there. We just seem to always be on at the same time.
I don't know that Bidwell was familiar with him because he, as far as I know, has never played on Fightcade. But just came in, took second place in the whole tournament, blew us all away. We're trying to get him to stream some and join some of the leagues and stuff. I mean, he was getting recruited for everything, along with
Yeah,
a lot of the Louisville crew. I don't want to say it's becoming the premier regional tournament, but I think it's kind of becoming the premier regional tournament just from the talent that we're grabbing. It's so many good people are coming into that one. So
yeah,
it's awesome.
yeah.
But
That one's. I mean, even the first year, that one had uh, a really good attendance. 3 years ago when it started.
yeah,
Again, that's one I do. That's one I would like to make one year if the timing ever worked. It'd be fun to go.
yeah, I'm gonna have to find another regional to hit at some point. I just the money to do two, go to Louisville and then go to the year end is usually about all I've got.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, a really star-studded event at Milwaukee this year. Of course, the three people in your group, we had Dave Smith, we had Floyd, we had Don. JB, of course, was there with Ethan and Milk, his roommates. Ethan, of course, OG commentator as well. So all people that we have seen. Was there anybody I'm missing that you know of who
No,
was
those
there?
are everybody I kind of knew.
Okay.
That's everybody that I was aware of prior to.
Didn't want to leave anybody out. Ibar, of course, his work schedule has been. I know he's had some personal things he hasn't elaborated, so there's nothing for me to elaborate on either. I don't know anything else about what's going on, but uh, I mean, he's a dad with three kids and two of them are twins. That's all I need to know. And he works nights. I mean, literally, the guy's got a lot going on. So I wouldn't. You hate not seeing him coming into a tournament, but you understand life comes first.
Yeah. Yeah, like hopefully he can make it to Cincinnati this year. It's always good to see him
Yep.
at tournaments.
Yep. All right. Anything else you want to add before we dive into the play here?
I don't think so. I think
All
we can
right.
maybe just we starting off with the worst one. So
Yeah, it was. I like I said, I knew Josiah was in the Discord because he'd put the picture in. I had
picture.
no expectation of what was about to happen, and
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
definitely show that. So you guys are on main stage. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. I'd say for me it's I do get tournament jitters. So the first ones I prefer to have an easier game kind of ease into a tournament and then 11 medium is not my speed. I do prefer the 14 high. So I think having those two things combined just doesn't help.
Yeah, it's one of the things I'm hoping. I'm thinking there'll be a staff meeting coming up within the next couple of months, and one of the things I'm going to ask about is, hey, can we kind of standardize some of these things so everybody's aware of what's going to happen? Because yeah, in Louisville, we weren't really sure what the level block was going to be until it started. But that was also our first, I think, ever foray into a double elimination tournament, which was a really interesting method, and I kind of liked it. But Anyway, back to pool play. You've got you and Josiah. Yeah, I remember playing Watchmen my first year in Louisville. I was like, oh, okay, I have to play Watchmen. Let's do this. Uh,
Yeah.
so I've actually got it queued up. Hooray! And here you guys go. So I always like talking about the first pill. Let me. Okay. You can see there's a red yellow in, and I'm curious because there I see one way that I would go. Okay, as a speed player, this is the first move I make. As a versus player, maybe I make a different first move. Take me through where your brain's going here.
So I don't even remember which I would do. I feel like just watching this now, I feel like I'd put it on top of the yellow. Um,
In one,
and then do a drop. Yeah. Yep. And then do a drop and then hopefully hold the yellow blue open for, for once you get some yellow blues.
yeah.
Um, I don't know if that's what I do here, but now looking at it now, that's kind of what I feel like it would make sense.
Also, there are no
Or
wrong
or
answers
even
here.
I was to say otherwise I could put it on top of the in column was it
Six,
6?
yeah,
Yeah. In anticipation of just dropping those reds real quick.
yeah. And unfortunately,
Are doing
you don't get two pill look ahead, so you can see what the next one's going to be, so you can know which
yeah.
one's the right one.
So I think one of those two would probably make just the trying to get the setup for the drop
Yeah,
into the double. Right.
that's kind of what I was thinking of as a versus player. That's the first thing I'm thinking. As a speed player, I'm like, put it on eight, do the simple thing. But
Yeah, yeah.
it's such a different world. So yeah, now I'm curious where. Okay, you just put it on eight, and I mean that makes sense as well because if you get some yellows, if you get yellow reds, I mean you're expecting to get yellow reds. So I mean a blue yellow, then you've got yourself a combo either way, and it's no drop.
Like you said, it's the easy move. So
Right. Double red here. Do you think? Are you thinking, hey, let me open up the blues in six? Which I mean, that's a single
now
clear. That's a speed move, not a versus move.
I feel like now that I've already put the yellow red there. I'm gonna try to stack that. So I either put it right next to the yellow red, or I
Mhm.
put it on column two. Is what I would
Vertically.
is what I would. Um. Yeah. Yeah. I think I would put that vertically. Yep.
Okay.
Just
Again,
column two.
no wrong answers, and if you don't guess what you did, it's fine too. Uh, this is we're picking your brain. That's it. Okay, vertically on two, and all right. So I'm not sure where this blue thinks it's going. I guess over on a column eight, but
Yeah, I probably just cleared 8 real quick. Um, again, at this point, I've got the yellow red set up where I'm thinking I'll combo that out,
right.
and I'm probably hold that until I get those until I get that.
That makes sense. And then I know with Bidwell, the first thing he would talk about because he and I did this right after nationals, and one of the first things he told me was that he's going to try to get. Granted, it's on 14, so it's a little bit higher, but he's going to try to get everything down at least one level before he starts really focusing on the combos. So it's interesting seeing different takes on different things. So there's that. And okay, so now you're stacking up some garbage. Again, I like that personally. I think, the idea of having no garbage is kind of dangerous in this situation.
Yeah, I think like you said, I think nowadays everybody it's it's trying to just build as many combos as quickly as you can. Um,
Uh,
So I'm interested to see what I do with this. If I create like a staggered approach here, or if I just take the red blue, or just put it on the red blues and match it up. That's
so
what
staggered
I
approach.
would hope. I would hope I could. Yeah, I would hope I turn it and put it on the blue over and the red that doesn't have anything on column 5,
Mm-hmm.
and then that way if another red blue comes out, then I'm set up.
Okay.
But
Oh,
I
you're talking about
don't
the
know what I.
next. You're talking about the next red blue. Okay.
Yeah,
I
I'm
thought you were
talking about
talking
the next
about.
one. Yeah, yeah.
I literally thought you were
No,
talking
no,
about the
this
blue
one.
yellow
No, no, blue yellow. I think I throw that on the yellow. That's already got one on it. I believe
because you said
in
staggered
column
approach,
7.
and that got me thinking. I was like, oh yeah, if you flip this around, then you've got blue red on top, and you can start stacking blue reds in 6 7, and then it's going to drop into 8. If you get a double yellow, I mean, that's you had me thinking there for a
Yeah.
second.
No, no, this one I think with the yellow I take a pretty simple approach,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
Yeah, and I'm hoping you stagger this as well, because a blue red in 4 5 flipped around just makes good sense to me. There it is, and then you're going to stack this up. But now you are going to get a double yellow. I'm guessing that's going to go into one.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. Because then I've got pretty much any color. Oh, or
Mm-hmm.
a majority of the colors ready for drop something at that point.
Yeah, and it will say you're that first garbage. That's murder.
Yeah, so that's what did me in. And I knew it right away. Um, that hey, I got to take care of that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to stack on top of it, which I probably should have just stacked on top of it and gone to the top with yellows and cleared it out as quick as possible. But that's not what I did.
Oh, I mean, it makes
I rewatched
sense.
I rewatched this part a little bit after the tournament. So yeah, this is what does me in here on this game.
I mean, it makes sense, especially if you're somebody who's accustomed to playing on high speed. The tendency is to go, oh, I can't stack any higher than this, you know.
Yep, yeah,
But even
and that's where I should have recognized. Hey, you're on a 11 medium.
mm-hmm,
You got a little bit of space.
you can literally watch back one of my match with Bidwell in Louisville, and there's a point where I just realized all of a sudden, oh, I can just tap this over, and I said something to him. I was like, oh yeah, I keep forgetting we're playing medium. And
Yeah,
like you can see it dawn on my face, and I immediately like tap something all the way over to the right, because that's one of my signature plays most of the time, is getting stuff tapped over up to a certain point. And I keep forgetting, oh hey, we're on medium, let's go ahead and slide this over. So,
yeah. So for me, I was thinking, I still have time. I can under clear
mhm.
around that and bring it down is kind of what I was thinking. And you can see I start to, and then I wait for a color, and it just never comes.
So
I forget.
looking at this red blue coming down, I'm curious what you probably at this point know exactly what you did, because you've seen it a few times, you said. What are your instincts though? Take it into 2 vertically and drop it down and hope to kind of build a combo that way. Put it into 7 8 and start building up a T clear. Kind of where does your head go with this?
Well, I think for me it was okay. I got to focus on this yellow.
Mm-hmm.
So I either did 2 or 6, and just tried to clear around that so I could start to like I said bottom clear
On the yellow.
around that yellow.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's kind of where my mind was. And again, it wasn't the right call, obviously.
At this point, I mean, it's garbage. And you got to figure out your garbage at some point. Also, he is 1 pill behind you already, I think, based on the fact that it's a double yellow. And he's got a super clean board here,
Yeah,
which you know
he
how I feel
really
about
does.
that. All right, let's see where you go with it. Oh, you do exactly what I was thinking you should do, and go into 7 8 to build up the T. So
Oh,
I really like that move. I think putting it into 6 7 is more dangerous, but that 7 8, you don't run as high of a risk unless he drops garbage on 8, in which case you're screwed. So, all right. I like it. I really do. And this is an interesting move taking the vertical. I think you were, like you said, you're prepping yourself to get this yellow in 4 knocked out no matter what. So, love that clear. You're going to get another combo here next. Oh, okay. I think that might be the one.
Yeah. So it's now it's starting to build, and it's like, okay, now I really need to take this out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a risky play. It's also just like you had a combo already, and actually the next pill would have been perfect for taking this out. It,
Yeah.
it's
If I
hindsight.
if I would have Yep. If I would have waited and put that somewhere else, I would have had room to put that yellow perfectly.
I mean, if we could play where we've got 10 seconds to look at every pill in between, we'd never make any mistakes.
Yep, for sure.
But yeah, I think that's the moment. And yeah, I mean, you can see your play is becoming a little more erratic. It's oh yeah, and it got flipped the wrong way. Yeah,
Right,
I mean
right
it's
here. So if you go back, if I could have saved myself, go
yeah
back
with
to that where that
the yellow blue.
yeah, the yellow blue. If I would have flipped that right, everything would have fell.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have been probably would have been not in the best shape, but I would have been able to play through the board then.
Yeah, I mean one of our sayings in speed is that misdrops multiply. You
Yep.
never get just one. So I mean it was honestly at the speed it was trying to go at with this little bit of maneuverability in the board. You did the best you could with what you had, and yeah, that would have been a really good clear. But who knows? Maybe if it doesn't come out this way, you end up with a different first round seed, and you end up taking a different path through the tournament, and you don't end up winning. So
Yeah, yeah, that's true as well.
end of the day, you know what happened. So and actually, you had another shot with this next pill. You set it red down instead of blue down,
Yeah,
and
there was
actually you would have had to you'd have had to disappear half the yellow blue and drop the reds down, and even then that's only going to buy you like one row. It wasn't enough.
Yep. So that was an interesting first one. Now I'm nervous. You know.
Yeah, because I think by this point it had been made very clear to everybody that it's one qual per player.
Yes. Yep.
So
It was kind of a one and done.
yeah, so now you're like, okay, I got to get this done or else. And this is another pill that I just don't see a real obvious place for. Let me see if I can get us to where it's dropped down. And okay, yeah. So red, yellow, take me through your brain.
I think I put it on 3-4.
Okay.
Because I think I stacked 3-4, and then once you clear the red, the yellow's ready to drop
Mm-hmm.
if you cross clear. That's where I think I go with it.
Yeah. My speed brain was taking over. I was like, well, you can tuck it into 3-4, but that really doesn't do that much. And with another red, yellow coming down, I mean, I think 3-4 may just be the right play regardless of what you're playing. So let's see. There it goes. There it goes. And there's the next one. And yeah, you're already in a really good position. And I love this yellow blue for you. Hmm. But now I'm wondering if you're going to set it on top of 5 and play risky or into 5-6, I
No, I
should
I
say.
probably drop I probably drop it at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know which side I use, but I think I drop just to get the quick combo.
Yeah. There it goes. How important do you think it is getting first blood in a speed or in a versus tournament?
Um, I mean, the first one I don't think is that super important because usually a lot of times a lot of the players nowadays if you're getting one, it's at first it means the other person's probably half second, or instantly behind you having the
Hmm.
same move a lot of the times. It really is, you being able to consistently set them up quickly. Um, is what really makes the difference, is what I think.
Unless
I
you
mean,
block
obviously
them
the
off.
first one helped. What was that?
I said, unless you block them off.
Yeah, I was gonna say unless you get lucky and it blocks off their setup. But again, a lot of times the other person's already kind of triggered the same combo if they're playing the same type of board as you.
Yeah, I don't know if you spend any time in the weekly checkups, but they play a seeded speed run of so everybody's playing the exact same boards, and
Yep.
generally what will happen is you'll hear people go oh around the same time, or ooh, and you can tell it's the same players making the same plays, because we've kind of standardized a lot of speed play, at least in the early boards. And I think Versus has a little bit of that going on as well, because like you said, if it's an obvious play, a lot of players are going to do the same thing.
Same thing. Yep.
All right, so looking at what you're doing here, you've got the 4-5, and I'm thinking this blue yellow is going into 6-7, and you're hoping that it's going to be a heavy blue yellow board.
Probably. Yep. Well, for sure, 6, 7, and then hoping another one comes, clear that out right away.
So let's see what you get. Oh, yep, and there's another one comes right out, and um, I'm going to pause it right here and say it's an interesting take to do um, to set it that way and not maybe wait for the blue yellow combo. But then again, with all of the red that you've got access to here, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that play, but doesn't matter. I didn't win. You did. Let's keep going. Oh, I have offended him, and he has left me.
No, it's,
I'm,
all
I'm
right. So we're on the right now. I'm seeing just the red, sorry, the red yellow
yeah,
on the
yeah.
pill.
Yeah, I had been talking about the yellow blue and going ahead and taking the double blue instead of like maybe holding out for a
Oh,
blue a blue yellow. But yeah, at this point we're looking at this yellow red, and I'm trying to figure out how are you going to combo this, because it's got to be there somewhere.
I don't know. I don't know if I just take the yellow on 7 and ignore that, or if I in 4 if I put it up right
Yeah,
on top of the red, and then wait for another one to combo the yellow red on 7. Then
yeah. I was
I don't know if
looking at
that's those would be one of those. I feel like one of those two moves is what I would do.
yeah. The only other place I could even see that working is in 8, but that puts you some garbage right up against the wall, and ugh, that's never a fun thing. So yeah, let's see what you do. You just go ahead and take it. And oh, great combo to come up with it. Yeah, you really a little bit of luck and a little bit of really good play there. And now you're
Yeah, I
building
got two quick.
combos. Yeah, go ahead.
I would say yeah, too quick. Cleared out those yellows pretty good. So that was nice.
And I mean, this is a clinic. The double yellow. Okay, let me back it up to that double yellow, because I'm curious what the reasoning is, if there was one. I'll get to it right here. That double yellow slammed down into 4-5.
That was a misdrop.
Okay, cool.
That was
I just making
I was
sure.
I was press, I was pressing down and it just kept going.
Okay,
So
cool,
that
cool.
was that was not intentional.
Just making sure there's not something I'm missing, because I was like, okay,
No,
maybe it's gonna
no.
involve 7, and I don't love it, but it's there. Yeah, I'm okay. Misdrop makes sense.
I was pressing down too much and it just kept going and I just went with it from there.
All right, I see a yellow blue. I'm wondering if this goes vertically in 2, or if you start.
I would
Yeah,
probably take it.
Oh, no, you go ahead and start setting up a combo, and then it gets immediately messed up. So that sucks for you. Here you go. Now you take it. And now there's garbage. I'm a little bit ahead of you, I'm sure, but okay, good. I mean, the very fortuitous pill set, but also, you can only do some. Pills can only do half the game for you. You have to be able to know what to do with them. But you are getting everything you need here. Combo, combo. Take another look at that combo. All right, so your decision on the red blue here is to set it up in 3-4 with the red facing right. Um, is drop time the reason that you don't set it up in 3 vertically?
That's a good question. I probably just didn't see.
Okay,
Well, you know what? I think I saw the next pill coming and I wanted to keep the combo. So if I do it vertically, it just clears the one. Are you talking? You're talking about the red? So I think I wanted to keep those three reds intact
okay.
for this combo here.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you set this one down in 3-4 instead of slamming it vertically down in 3 the way it's currently positioned. And from
Oh, well, I think because then you're still set up. So you get this combo, and then you've still got the red. So wait, I set this on top of
just like
three,
that.
four, right? That's what I do here.
Yes, just like this.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So you get the quick combo
Mm-hmm.
because if you push down, then you get nothing. You drop, you get the blues, and then you set up the red. But there's no combo then.
I mean, there is a combo because you'll
So
have
you,
the 3 reds and then the red and the reds and 4 will clear along with the blues in 3, and then you'll have 2 on top of your red. That was the question I had. I was trying to figure out what makes the difference for you in that.
so you're saying before I drop the other
I'm
the
sa-
red blue in 4, 4, 5.
I'm saying set up the red blue vertically in 3. So
Uh,
instead of having it in 3-4 the way it's positioned right now, I'll back it up, and we got to get through a little bit because Twitch takes a little bit longer.
yeah.
Um, Setting it the way it is positioned now and just going straight down, you'll still get your combo, but then it'll clear out the reds in 4 and
Yeah,
have it
I
a little
see
bit
what you're
cleaner.
saying.
Again,
Think I wanted to keep, and I think I wanted to keep like I said, I wanted to keep that red there,
mm-hmm.
that red blue there, so I could basically stack on top of that, clear that blue in column 5, and then you're kind of set up again for the red blue
Okay, that's
in 4. I think that's what I was thinking.
totally
But
fine answer.
it could just be, hey, let's take this.
Yeah, yeah. It's literally, again, I'm coming at it from a very speed heavy pedigree, and you're coming at it from
Mhm.
more of a versus pedigree. So I'm trying to figure out. My instinct is to do it the way it's positioned now. Your instinct is to set
Yeah,
it up in three
I,
four, and I'm
I
trying to
get
figure out what the difference is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's just what I saw and decided to take it real quick.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I've told you before. There's no wrong answers here. I'm just real curious. That's all right.
So I think I clear 7 and 8 out here with this.
That makes sense. Yep, you do. And you're going to set up the combo again. And man, his garbage is really hurting you on this one. But
Yeah,
okay.
they did I feel like I did make it out on this one. I had a lot of
Whoa. That happened real fast. Hold on, I didn't even see that happening. So that double red wasn't a mistake.
no, yeah, I was planning for that.
Oh, I
I was like, all right,
see.
I've got,
I didn't see it, and it surprised
and then
me.
I just got lucky that his yellow garbage dropped on top of that red as well right after.
Hmm.
So that kind of created a little bit bigger than I was planning for, but I was planning for that drop into a fat log basically.
Yeah, no, I didn't see the fat log until it hit. So that's a monster right there. So you've got a 5 spot into a fat log clear into another drop clear. Yeah, that may have been the dagger. You hit him in a way that I don't think he was expecting. Offset fat log, another combo to keep the stun lock going, another combo. He had like one in between the stun lock. He comboed it though, so it kind of prevented a further stun lock. How much stock do you
That
place
was
in
a
stun
mystery.
locking? Oh, you had a misdrop. It's
I think it's I think it makes a world of difference. Um, and like if you're playing someone that's really good at even just offsetting,
mm-hmm.
where maybe it's not a straight stun lock, but it's like it kind of ruins your flow. I feel like it makes a difference.
That's literally what Dave Smith talked about doing. He said he doesn't like to do a pure stun lock where you prevent your opponent from making any moves. He said I try to give them like one pill in between so that they're putting more stuff on top that I have a chance to then make a mess on top of.
Yeah, and that's something I feel like to effectively do that. I mean, you feel like you really need to board watch,
Yeah.
um, which is something I need if I need to get better at if because I don't really do that
Yeah.
much anymore.
I don't know how you can. It's so it's so difficult. I have enough trouble watching my own board.
Yeah, yeah.
And oh, nice cross clear there. That's the only reason that works for me in speed. I don't know how much speed you watch, but that's one of the things that most players know that I do is keep an eye on what my opponent's. I always have my opponent's stream open, and the reason for
Oh, okay.
that is because I can then listen and hear where they are in their level block and have a better idea of what's
Oh,
going on. But every once in a while, if I've got a big drop time combo or something going on, maybe I'll look. But yeah, no, most of the time I'm just listening instead of looking.
so yeah. I mean, I do watch. I try to catch the monthly speed tour. I don't watch as I used to watch probably almost every one. But I don't have as much time as I used to.
Who
So,
does anymore?
yeah. I watch quite a bit of them. I try to catch at least parts of them if I can. But I do think there are a lot of things that I do in this tournament that I probably would have done very differently even in Columbus in November. Um, I just feel like I used to try to keep everything very clean,
Mm-hmm.
and try to clear as kind of neatly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So there are things that I do. I was just kind of watching through here that I probably would have taken much differently. But I think it's even though you're not clearing out viruses as quickly, it's a better approach, I feel like.
I mean, that's just growth, growth for you and growth for the game. We're all
Yeah.
doing this, and I mean, honestly, that's why I do streams like this is so we can all. We always tell our new players the best thing to do, the best way to get better. Watch players who do things that you don't understand why they do it, and figure out why they do it, and then if it's a good thing for you, put it in your game. I've just gotten past that point now. I'm just going, hey, tell me what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so you guys are tied up 1-1, and it's pretty clear from the way quals have been going that there is no going back. It's you got to win every game, or else it ain't gonna be a thing. So I got to imagine the tournament nerves are as high as they're gonna get.
Well, after winning that last one, I feel like I kind of got into my groove a little bit. It calmed down. Once you get a few games and then you're kind of rolling.
Yeah.
So, um,
Did you get a chance to play much before your qual pool started?
not a lot, but I played a little bit. Um, just kind of I got there and just kind of played just single real quick. Um,
Well, I mean,
right before the start of this one.
you said you had Dawn over at your place. I'm assuming that meant playing some with Dawn
The
anyway.
night, yeah, the night before him and I played, we didn't play during the day of. Um, I don't think we played at all the day
The
of actually, other than the final.
the best Dr. Mario that gets played in Columbus gets played at an Airbnb the evening of the tournament. I
Yeah,
kid you
yeah,
not. Upstairs with Dave Smith and Floyd and Swong and Leviticus, and Rob Burrito popping in, Savage and Dave and I are all there. I mean, it's that Airbnb this past year. It was so many people were in it, and it was constant Dr. Mario, and anybody who wasn't playing was sitting there watching it. We were junkies that weekend, and I feel like it's always that way.
yeah. That's even before this, Floyd has been coming to this for forever too, to the Midwest Gaming. He's into pinball machines, so he always
Oh yeah,
brings a pinball machine
yeah, yeah.
to this. So him and I would always, even before the tournament started, we would meet up and play quite a bit. So um, didn't get to play as much this year, but it was still we still played uh, a few matches outside of the tournament.
All right, you've had some time to look at this one. I think I know what the right play is, but tell me what you're thinking.
I honestly don't know what I feel like. I almost feel like I just drop it straight down. I don't know.
That's that
I don't
that's
know
my
what I do.
instinct. That's 100% my
Yeah,
instinct, because where there's
yeah.
one red blue, there's
It's-
going to be another one. But all right, let's see where things go. Red, yellow. Yep, there's the next red, blue, and now you're setting up for a combo, and yeah, it didn't quite go the way you wanted, I don't think, but there's the combo you were looking for. And you lucked out with the garbage. It didn't really do too much harm.
yeah.
Into a T combo. Man, that was a little bit luck. Because the just from the direction the garbage decided to go.
Yeah, I think sometimes you just need a little bit of luck to get through.
Now, how critical do you think this blue garbage? Okay, I I was going to say, how critical do you think this blue garbage in one is? And you clearly were looking at it with that red blue. I'm assuming that was just a misflip when
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
But at some point, I'm assuming the idea was build up to it and fill out the horizontal, make the combo, and then you know you'll end up with some drop time, but it won't be too bad.
yeah,
Okay.
probably. Um, but yeah, well, it is what it is there. I'd
Yeah.
probably just leave it for a while.
Any part of you thinking putting this yellow blue vertically in six with the blue down so that You can
I,
start.
I hope that's what I do.
Okay,
I
good.
think that's I think that's what I do
It
with
is.
this one.
Oh, and the double yellow can go in 7. Oh,
Yep.
yeah. That's just pretty. Oh, and he got a triple at the same time, and oh, yeah.
So now I think I get it down with the Reds.
He was
Yeah.
getting some good garbage on you. And
I
again,
got out of that.
I think at this point,
Got a little.
if clean board is where your brain's going, whew. But yeah, go on.
I would say no, I think I got out of that, but yeah, it was that was just yeah, once it gets to that point, it's like okay, you got to clean it up. You're not as focused on combos anymore. It's more of how do I drop that down? You know.
You say not as
And then
focused
once
on
you
combos as you build a great cross.
you're still doing them, it's just that's not the priority at that point. Not, now that I'm clear, like this even though I'm stacked up in one, two, three, I've got a lot of area. My whole other
Yeah,
side of the board's clean now. So
and it's still medium.
yeah.
As we must remind ourselves, it is still medium. Oh, drop into another. Okay, that is a hard horizontal, a double horizontal to see. That was impressive.
So that might have been just a lucky. I caught the first one and then it got lucky on this. I don't know if I actually saw that.
Yeah. Okay. So I know you've talked about Twitch. First rule of Twitch, it's always, of course, that's what I was planning. Yeah, pro move.
Yeah, yeah.
No, actually, the first rule of Twitch, if you're going to play Dr. Mario, is don't read chat, but that's a whole nother thing. Ugh. All right. So now you're setting up, you're waiting around for this yellow that never seems to come. And now, oh, okay. Well, I was going to say now we're looking at some
Still waiting for that. Yeah.
interesting pill moves. I'm assuming, yeah, any red blue is going to end up in 2-3. And looked out there. There's the combo finally coming down. And the horizontal makes sense. Another combo. Yeah, I mean this is just if you've been playing the game for a while, it seems like it's obvious, but it's not. It's stuff that, we didn't all it's not as intrinsic as it feels like it is now.
Yeah. I mean, again, some of these combos that I set up and I'm doing, I wouldn't have done last year for sure. Um, I would have played it very differently.
All right, so you just finally took out the blues in column 1, and this raises a question that I wouldn't have thought about too much, except that either at Milwaukee or at Phoenix, we saw some players who would leave this virus like you're red and one and just go, okay, it's fine. I mean, this one's really well set up because you've already got two pill halves on it. But you see players go, okay, I'm just going to leave that alone. That way, you've got a 1 in 8 chance of the garbage coming down there. I'm sure the odds aren't exactly 1 in 8, and then it doesn't matter. And on top of that, you don't have to worry. You can go ahead and clear underneath of all of that. Would you say that's something that's in your head now, or is it just kind of like, I'll get to it when I get to it?
I think I've always kind of left, if anything gets caught in a 1 or 8 in that area, it's something that I've always kind of just left till the end.
Makes
It's
sense.
like okay, that's fine. You know, you'll get to it when you get to it. If you need to take it before the end, I will. But for the most part, the other thing is if you do drop it down, you're dropping a bunch of garbage on top
Mm-hmm.
of everything underneath. So then you got to clear it out. So I do feel like it's almost better to wait till the end at
Yeah,
this point.
it's like a proto umbrella strat, but not quite an umbrella strat. All right. Well, like I said, it's something that had come up during one of the tournaments over the weekend, and it's not something I'd given a lot of thought to. So I was kind of curious where you were falling on it. Speaking of falling, there's a fat log falling down.
Yeah, like I said, I think I've always kind of left those hangers just kind of like, especially, when you're sometimes they're caught and it's like, okay, well, it's so fast, the point gets so fast that you're gonna have to build up to it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there are some things I did notice. I think I was watching in Arizona is a lot of times when people need to build up, they'll start they instead of like doing it vertical, they'll clear them horizontal. Obviously, that one, like you said, has two on
Yeah.
it already, so it makes sense just to clear it underneath. But that's something I feel like I when I build up, I normally build up horizontal, but I might try to change that.
Well, I mean, if you're
Honestly,
looking
I did.
50 speed, your horizontal is kind of the only option you've got because vertical
Yeah.
involves tucks, and tucks at speeds that high get real difficult.
Yes. Yep.
All right, well, one foe vanquished and well earned, but now you've got hot rod. I mean, it's frying pan fire. Whew, tough.
So yeah, I met Hyrod last year at this tournament. And he in the qualifiers as well. And he took me out. He got him off of me last year. So
Yeah.
one out of three, I won the best two out of three, but he took one off of me, and that's why I was seeded. I was like a six seed last year too. Because he had beat me. So yeah, I had that, kind of knew he was a good player. I don't think I played him much. I don't know if we played a match in Columbus.
Yeah,
But
I'm sure.
I'd seen him around and played him at least once last year. So
So I forgot to ask, do you bring your own controller?
I do.
Yeah, okay.
And I actually had to bring one for Floyd this year. Floyd apparently forgot his.
Oh no.
So both him and Dave messaged me the morning of, hey, do you have an extra controller? Can you bring it? I was like, yeah, I got one.
Cool.
So
Cool,
I
cool.
did tell him he couldn't use it against me, but I let him use it when we played.
How old is your controller? Is it one of your originals or is it one you've picked up since?
Well, so I mean, I don't know if they're the originals. Both of my controllers are old, but I did last year. When Ibar and Don and Floyd were here last year. We were playing, and Ibar said, "Hey, you got to replace, you replace everything, all the celluloid stuff in your controller." So I bought replacements.
Right, right,
Um, I
right.
changed I changed one out, so that the one I changed out, I let him use.
Mm-hmm.
Because I never practiced with that one after I changed it out. And so the other one I left. Because I feel like I like the looseness of it
Mm-hmm.
versus the hard feedback you get with the fresh.
Right.
So I, st I still have the other change out. I don't know if I'm ever gonna practice with the new one and get used to it, or I'll just stick with my old one that I'm comfortable with at this point.
I think the only rubber that I've changed out is my SNES controllers. The start and select buttons were like super soft, and it was just because the rubber pieces underneath had gotten completely corroded. But yeah, I don't know if you've heard the story from Louisville. Betty had brought a dog bone, but it was a hyperkin, and hyperkins and the analog NT tend to not go well together. And so she was
Okay,
struggling around.
yeah, I saw one of her matches. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could tell she was having issues.
Well, before the top eight, we were getting some practice in and trying to help her find a good controller. And she's, freaking out. I always bring my own controller. Of the two I've had since I was five, I keep there's one that I always use. Now I've got the other one. Now that I'm teaching my wife, I have her use it. But I was like, Betty, here, I will let you play with my controller if you want. She took, like, she had it in her hands for maybe 2 seconds and she almost screamed. She was like, how do you play with this? And it's the same thing. I've got a very loose D-pad. Like, you can hear it. That's that's
Yeah.
it sliding around. I'm not pressing any of the buttons. It's super loose and it's got a much softer feel to it, but I think it's that there's less action on it, so it's more responsive to me, if that makes sense. I don't know. We all have our controller and we all play with it, and yeah, totally
Yeah,
get that.
I definitely bring one. I've always brought my own to the tournaments, so I think it makes a difference.
I think maybe someday I might replace some of the rubber underneath the D-pad, but I'll do it on the one I don't usually use first because I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's that's what I did just to kind of, and then my plan was to practice with that one and get the feel of it, and then I just never did. So maybe before Columbus, I'll have to start using that one, um, and just see if I can get used to it.
Have you ever played with Bidwell's Custom?
No, if not.
He used Game Boy buttons. He
Oh,
swapped out his
okay.
D-pad and the concave buttons for the D-pad and the convex buttons of the Game Boy. The first time I used it, I thought it was really nice, and then I played a little bit with it in Louisville this year, and I was like, no, this doesn't feel good to me. But it's got me wondering. I know where my childhood Game Boy is, and if it's still where I think it is, it has been exposed to the elements for close to 15 years now, and I'm sure the buttons are still fine. Maybe I should go vulture it. I don't know. Oh me. All right. Well, anyway, I just thought about that as I was watching Hot Rod put his controller in. So, um, red yellow here, 6 7 appears to be where you're going. I would assume the double yellow is going on top of six, and then any red is a
Yep.
combo.
Yep, that's what probably I would expect me to do. Looks like Hot
Yeah.
Rod's doing something else.
Oh wow. And then yeah, the yellows make a combo. You're unfortunately not going to make a combo here, but there's a combo. Okay, yeah, I love the setups here. Again, it's all stuff that to me now just seems so standard, but I think I would have taken the yellow as the yellow and the red together.
Seeing,
But go ahead.
yeah, a lot of this stuff, like I said, I don't think I would stagger, even last year I wouldn't have staggered stuff as much. I would have just cleaned out
Hmm.
whether or not it had a combo. I would have just kept a clean board. That's how I used to play. And so this was the first tournament since getting Fightcade and kind of changing up a bit. Um, that I feel like I'm playing a little bit differently than if you watched, the past 3 years of the national of the Columbus ones. I probably have a little bit different of a style.
Yeah, it's
Like I wouldn't have waited, built a lot of that stuff up right there.
one of the things Bidwell has talked about. Of course, they're looking at getting something similar to what Tetris has, where it's a like a Game Genie style post cart something. Okay, yeah, you got yourself in a little bit of trouble there, and you were taking some time to think. That's really the first time. I'm just going to stop saying what I was saying, and say I think this is the first time we've seen you outside of the one top out loss, stopping and taking a moment to think about your play. Everything else has been very clean, clear, crisp. Let's get this done. Uh, Packy esque
Yeah,
down press play.
yeah, and I think something I think I've heard Influx say is, even for the speed run is, you know it's not about always making the right play, it's just making the a very quick play
Yeah.
as as right as it can be. It doesn't always need to be 100% right though.
When
So I think that's kind of where I'm playing.
when I did his podcast, the line he used, I don't think I'm ever gonna forget it. Oh yeah, there you are going. You just broke my combo. The line he used was make bad plays fast.
Yeah.
If you've
Yeah,
got to make a
that's the
bad
way he put it.
play, doesn't matter. Just make it quickly, and then it won't matter. So yeah.
Yep.
Okay, what I was going to say about one of the things Bidwell has been looking at trying to get done is like a Game Genie style device, like what Tetris uses, that post cart adds in statistics and things.
Oh.
Because Nintendo doesn't really want us using modified carts, uh, and if they ever notice, they will get angry apparently. But one of the things they do, they that's how they do like Tetris rates and things like that in the Tetris screen. It's all just done post cart. And one of the things he was talking about doing was something similar to that Tetris rate, which would be like combo rate. How many times has this player made a clear that isn't part of a combo? So,
That would be interesting to see. I mean, I do like the speed. I like it when at the live tournaments.
hmm
Um, I like having that speed where you can see how fast, you know, or how
yeah,
many pills you
yeah, yeah.
drop basically. Um,
And officially,
uh,
they don't know that officially we could be using literally any device to make that on screen. So technically, but yeah, it's totally a modified cart right now.
yeah. Um, but that's something, I don't know if it was my first time I played Swang or a second time. Um, in the video you can see me pointing at the screen after I lose to him, and I think he was almost every game he was like 10 speeds higher than me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's something I gotta change.
Okay.
Um, so that's part of the reason I've kind of tried to change a little bit is because I've after losing to him, 2 years in a row, it's like, well, I got to change something, and that was very noticeable after every match. It was, or after every game, he was 100 pills faster than me.
Yeah, it's
Even though we
definitely
were we were
definitely something we see in Swong's play style. Excuse
yeah.
me. Is just the degree to which he makes his decisions very quickly, like freakishly so. Oh, tried to get a tap over, didn't work out, but got a
I
combo
did,
anyway.
yeah, that one.
Um, I'll tell you who really impressed us with that just in the chat over the weekend was Floyd. His first uh, um, bracket match, people were like,
Yeah,
Floyd,
me.
what's that?
Yeah, that was against me. Or was it when for qualifiers?
It
Because I
might
know
have been
for
it might have been
when he
during
was playing.
qualifiers because the comment that was made was Floyd has somewhere to be. His taxi's already waiting.
Yeah.
He was moving so fast it was scary. Oh, okay, that's really good yellow garbage because that's that. Yeah,
Yeah, that helped me out quite a bit because otherwise I was waiting for that red yellow.
yeah.
You know?
And all clears are a sign to me of two good players playing each other because nobody's getting topped out. You're just going, okay, we're gonna survive long enough for one of us to finish the board. So always good to see. And here comes a vertical. And it's interesting because it looks like Hot Rod's going to lay it down horizontally, which is my instinct, but it's also might just be my instinct because I've talked to Dave Smith too recently. That's literally one of his things that he said that is one of the things that stuck out the most. He said, if I get a horizontal, or a double, I'm looking at setting it horizontally to make it part of a combo.
Well, yeah.
And I was like, that's an interesting way of looking at things, David. I've not looked at it that way before, and now I can't get that out of my head. But you're thinking combos already, and you're gonna get one too. Nice clear there. I'm thinking 2-3 with this double red and hoping for another double red or something.
I would think so. 2, 3, yeah, and
Yeah,
then put the blue on top of 3 right
yeah.
away.
Or you've also got the option to put the double blue on top of 5, especially if you see a blue yellow after that. That would just be chef's kiss. But no, I think 3 makes the most sense. Oh, well, okay. The double happened either way. Looks like chat saying they like 3-4, and apparently you did too because that's where you put it. Without going back to look at it again, I'm not sure how much of a difference it makes, but it must have made some because that's what you did and it worked out. Oh, red yellow. There's the red yellow. And the fact that you're playing on medium is starting to come out.
Yeah, yeah, that was
Yeah, that is not a misdrop you make. So, but another cross. And now, of course, you're not getting any yellow red. I hate it when combos fester. Just there it is. And really good garbage on. Hot Rod put some. For him, it was good garbage. For you, it's kind of nasty. But oh yeah, I like that thought that went into. Okay, this is going to be. If I set this down, it's going to make it clear that isn't going to combo. And I see what you mean. You're playing to some new instincts. Maybe the best way to put
yeah.
it. And yeah. Oh, somebody said something to you in the background. Or maybe it was somebody in the back going, "Oh, this is like Tetris, right?"
Yeah, not sure.
Oh, I hate it when that happens. Flindo and I were practicing in Columbus, and somebody came up behind us and said that, and we were both just like, "Are they from the community and they know, or are they just you know civilians?"
Well, we're in a hallway, so we got a lot of just fast fires, and there was Tetris going. Like you can see the guys
Mm-hmm.
behind us are
Mm-hmm.
qualifying for Tetris, I think, for the next day. So there was Tetris going on, and then our tournament going on basically at the same time.
Yeah. All right. I saw something. Okay. It's this yellow blue. I see a move, and I got to tell you about it. It's vertical in 2. Oh, wait.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Yes. It did. I was miscounting in column 1. I was thinking you had 3 reds, but it's still going to build a combo. And anyway, yeah, I saw that and I was thinking that the blue red was going to build a combo too. But either way, I mean,
It would have been a good move.
you still get the combo, so it's
You
not
know,
as big a deal. If the if it had been 3 reds underneath instead of 2, it would have been a much better combo, and I would have I would feel less stupid right now because I did just make a big deal about that over nothing. Uh, oh, I love this setup. Love the setup. That was prime. Even my cat's looking at me like, why did you interrupt him just to say that? That was a dumb move. Yeah. 11, I got a chance to look at. Oh, that hurts for you. This
Yeah,
garbage. This is gross garbage. Oh, when
I do
11,
like I'm the lot,
when
put it
11,
down.
yeah. You're getting there. It's just nothing is coming up well for you. Oh, nice clear though. Leviticus and I got a chance to talk about his big game against Luke, where it went to like 70 speed or something ridiculous. And there was one little play, and I paused it. And I was like, oh my gosh, 0% chance I ever see this in real time. But I was like, if you make this tuck right there, then everything comes crashing down, and we were both just kind of marveling at it. And then we are like, yeah, no, it's not going to happen because you're not going to see it with the pills going as fast as they were. But yeah, it's so much fun to see stuff like that later on. All right, you guys are waiting
Yeah.
around. Don't think we're going to get hit with an ad, but we might. Come on. Okay, we'll just skip ahead. All right, so Rod's playing Josiah. I think that's the end of your pool group.
Yeah, I think now
How did your games
because I
against
play on the
Steve
other.
go?
I think I beat him pretty well.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
was a good player, but the other two were. I think I was kind of in a groove after playing those two.
right. Do you find in your qualifying groups in other tournaments, there's always like one player that you're just like, oh, and then you maybe you get the win and you're just like, okay, I can't believe I did that.
Again, qualifiers for me are always rough. I feel like uh, I feel like I lose the most. There's a lot of like the first or second year. There wasn't a lot of film before the top eight, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually see there's a few like I think they just posted like the full like qualifier stream whoever was playing on the main one. I feel like you see me lose a ton. And then I ended up making it to the final four somehow. You know, because I like on my quals I do bad and I just feel like I always do bad in qualifiers. Um, and then like even last year I got a pretty high seed. But I feel like it's because I played everybody so close where I was only beating them by like one or two viruses.
Right.
Um, because of the way, the scoring is done, it made my seed that much higher. Even though I beat everybody, I barely beat them. Um,
Yeah.
and it wasn't intentional. It was just because I was taking me, longer to clear things out than I feel like when we play 14 high.
Oh, 23, I got saddled with Doc in my group. And then in 20 this past year it was Motomas, and I was just like, "Really? Okay." But
Yeah,
yeah,
one year it was me, Dave Smith said, BB Forky, and I think it was Crimson. And
no.
I lost all. Yeah, and BB Forky beat all of us. He ended up the top of that qualifier, and I lost to all three of them. So I was glad that yeah, I could requal that year.
Yeah, Forky can be a tough one. Um I have never seen this particular frame on the game screen. Look at JB's side. It's
I
Mario
must,
has disappeared and it's getting ready to go back to the clipboard screen.
yeah,
I've never seen that before. I think I must have locked it down at just the right frame.
yeah.
That's
When he hit the AB start select or whatever.
I think this is just you hit start because from the game over
Oh,
it'll take you back
maybe
to
yeah.
the menu.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, now I'm gonna have to pull up an emulator at some point and like go frame by frame and see exactly what it does because that's weird. All right. Well, obviously this is not Floyd v. Ryan. You ended up with the sixth seed based on the fact. I think it was just that one loss to Josiah was what took you out of the top four seeds. Um, which, you know, here you are. But anyway, so you've got, you're facing off against JB, who had cleaned his pool out and ended up with the three seed. This is I'd like to say this is the your first real foray into players that we know, but you'd just gone through a qualifying pool of death. I'm assuming confidence is pretty high though because of how tough a pool you had to get through.
Yeah, I'm glad it didn't get like last year at this time I would have been playing Ibar. I
Yeah,
think I
yeah,
played
you don't want
Ibar,
that.
even before this. So, he knocked me out, I think even before the top eight, or maybe we were top eight. Um, so I'm glad I didn't get, Dave Smith says right away.
Right. As the person who ended up with Dave Smith says in what ended up being the second round of the tournament in Louisville in the first year, yeah, I agree. And then got him in first round in Columbus this past year. All right, so 14 high. I'm assuming you're much more comfortable on that speed and level setting.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's standard. Now, remind me, are you the one player or the two player here? I'm assuming the one.
Yes, I
Okay,
think I'm the one player.
okay. That's right, because you reach over and shake hands and you're not reaching the other direction. Sometimes they flip the cameras on us. So you can't always tell. But all right. And then apparently in Phoenix, Bidwell had them facing each other. So the NES was in the middle and the two
Yeah,
TVs
that's
were across
that's
from each
how he
other.
set it. Yeah, that's how he set up the. That's how it was set up last year. So
Oh,
it must just have been a Chris versus JB style of
yeah,
run
no.
things.
I'm not a fan of that. I don't mind I mean I love his two set up next to each other thing, but having to face my opponent while I'm playing, I don't want that. I don't think I ever want that. Just set me down next to them. We'll chat. We'll have fun. You know, if it's Flindo, we won't shut up. Uh, I say that because he's in chat. He and I had to play each other in 23, and yeah, it threw me off at first because that guy talks through his
He,
games.
he yeah, I've the one time I played him, I think was 23 as well. And yeah, that threw me off too. He commentates his whole thing,
Yep, yep, yep.
and part of yours.
Things I would say to him in person and am because he's in chat. All right. So I mean, 2-3 is the obvious play here. It's a zero drop clear. I can't imagine there's any. I mean, you could go 3-4, but I don't see any reason to.
Yeah, no,
Yeah. Okay.
I think you're right.
All right. Into 2-3, and then this yellow red. My instinct is to go straight down into 4-5 and not stack up columns 1 and 2 unless you get like a double yellow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, unless like, I think you're right there. At this point, you're just trying to keep everything,
Yeah.
you know,
Start setting it
in
up.
line. Yep.
Okay, good. And combo. Interesting that JB didn't get the same combo you did. Huh. Oh, okay. That undertuck of the blue is inspired. That is. Oh,
Missed it.
well, I couldn't tell if you missed it or if you were planning to set it up as a vertical.
I
Oh,
think that was missed.
yeah. Well, it was definitely a miss after that. Oh, oh, it was practice.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right, I feel dumb, but
That's right. Oh,
okay. I literally thought that was a guy dressed as George Washington behind you in the blue jacket. I thought it's like a white head. I don't know if it's a hoodie or what, but it looked like a white hair piece. All right, you're gonna go 6-7,
Yeah,
surely.
and then I think I would probably lay the next one's 7-8.
Okay, good. That's yep. There we go. Combo, combo, combo. Beautiful. All right, so you got a double red blitz about to start. Are you stacking it into 2-3, or are you gonna clear stuff?
I probably 2-3, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, I could
I
see
would
clearing the
think,
one.
especially seeing, or no, yeah, is it so? Wait, I have two. I probably, because I see two double reds, I probably do 1-2 and then just clear both those out right away.
Okay.
With the combo with the
I mean, my instinct is you can stack up to three of them vertically in 2-3, and then the third one, goes into
yeah
one. You get rid of that, and then
one.
there's a yellow red coming. But okay, yeah. Now I'm curious what you're gonna do. Okay, you stack there, take and it didn't end up being a full red blitz anyway. So all of my ideas and preparing don't do any good. Oh no. Well, there you go. No such thing as garbage, just a combo you haven't met yet. There it goes. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's all coming together. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start focusing more on that under clear to create combos and get rid of garbage. That's or placing the pills underneath when there's an overhang.
Yeah.
That's a really nice
Well,
play.
yeah, and if you're if you've already got something set up, it like you said, it limits drop time then too. You're not
Mm-hmm.
just stacking everything on top.
Like it makes sense, but again, it's like anything else. It's stuff that doesn't until it's obvious. It's not obvious. All right, double blue, and it looks like you're just gonna take the clear, and I agree. It's just it's so tempting, and I can't see a way to make it a combo outside of like stacking on top of the yellow.
Well, I think if you take it, then you're ready for red, blue, red, red, yellow, and blue, red. You have
Yeah,
two of each of those pairs up. So if you get any of those, you're ready to start combos if you take that cross clear.
yeah.
You know,
Look at your second row from the top. I mean, it's just all doubles except for that blue in 3. Yeah, from 4 through 8, it's all doubles. That is, oh man, that is a versus board. Cool. Let's see what you do with it. Okay. Okay. Combo. Interesting. Okay, the undertuck. Oh, I didn't see it was a double. Okay. Like your undertuck doesn't make sense to me, but it was because you had a double red in column 1. Okay, now it makes
yeah,
very clear
I was
sense.
saving it. Yep.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, that's an unfortunate. The red garbage was really unfortunate there. That just okay, let me go back to this double blue. All right, at this point you've got the option for a T clear if you can tuck it into 7-8. But
Yeah.
That's a tough play to
So I,
make.
I try to stay away from tucks if
Okay.
they're not necessary now. In my first tournament, I feel like I tried to do a lot of tucks
Hmm.
and it just did not work out.
Okay.
So I feel like if they're not necessary, I generally don't, and they're not super easy. I think I try to stay away from them for the most part.
Cool.
Um, the that's one after tournaments, you obviously go back, watch yourself play.
Hmm.
And I think the first one, I was playing Savage, and the first game she annihilates me. I think I have like 30, 30 pill or viruses on the board after she kind of just speed runs. And I think I did two like right away. I did like two mistucks that I probably didn't need to do. So after that tournament, I was like, you know what? I'm not if they're not necessary, I'm gonna try to stay away from them.
That makes sense. Yeah, the only reason I even see for it is the nice combo play, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's something that I am probably known for is tuck plays. I take too
yeah.
many of them, but yeah, so I was kind of curious, kind of where your mind would go on that, especially
They're
given that it's
they're
all
the
the way on the right.
Yeah, they're the bane of my existence. If I don't, and I actually, there's a big one I missed later in this, and it was the only reason I tried it is because it would have kind of cleaned up my whole board. I think I miss it when I play Dawn. I still come out with the game, but it definitely makes it a much tighter one by missing the top. I feel like I
Yeah.
always miss them, so I
Okay.
try to limit them.
That's there's no one way to play this game, so totally get that. All right, so vertical there, vertical. Oh no, not a vertical there. And this is also, by the way, I'll tell you right now, this is research for when I'm doing commentary. Uh, I've learned so much about different players and their unique play styles that I feel like I can commentate better. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, that's Larva. She's gonna. There's a T on the board. She's gonna take it. Or now I know you're not a tuck player. You hate
Yeah.
tucks, and you will avoid them unless they're absolutely necessary. See, that's information for me. All right. Oh yeah. And okay, I think you're in the middle of what you would have considered what you were talking about with plays you wouldn't have made last year. Oh, that cross even
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I would have probably taken that blue red in the beginning right away. You
Yeah.
know, I wouldn't have built it up like that.
Yeah, we all turn into Betty eventually. It's just the way of things. It's the way it should be, you know. Betty is one of the higher forms of existence that we know of, so uh, combo and swim and combo and swim. Yeah, I'm guessing if tucks aren't your cup of tea, then swims are well on out. Which it's again, I've said this before on here. It's one of the things that I find to be one of the most interesting proofs that this game has evolved as much as it has, is the fact that nobody knew what a swim was a couple of years ago. Dave Smith
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And I think DM Hero was the one who had originally coined the phrase possibly. So, he had the idea swimming around in his head, no pun intended, but overall it's become so integral to the speed game, and
Yeah.
it's gone from zero to everywhere in no time flat. All right, but a
Yeah,
good
and like you said, I mean, I think and if I'm playing single, I'll do tucks.
sure.
I just think they're easier to hit, when
Hmm.
you're playing single and that's why, the first year I came, I was like, oh, I got this, no problem. It was like what I thought should have been a very easy tuck, and then I miss like three in a row. I'm like, all right, I can't be trying these on the versus game as much.
Do you fall anywhere on the fever versus chill versus off spectrum?
So most of the time, if I'm playing by myself, I've got off. I'm listening to music in the background. I just I have sound off on
Gotcha.
TV for them. So yeah, almost. I mean, even back in high school, we'd be playing with music on.
Yeah.
Um, so it was never chill versus fever. So
There's been some discussion in the technical discussion section of the Discord about the fact that the uh,
was
the
it chill?
glitch no the fact that the glitch still shows up even in two-player mode, that there are music affected glitches that don't you get some extra mistucks and stuff, and
Yeah, okay. Oh.
apparently it does show up in two-player. It affects both players, but it affects them unevenly. So
Oh.
it might affect player one on pill 6, but not affect player two till like pill 12 or something. And it's interesting, and I'm wondering if we're gonna see like forced off, since nobody's listening to the music anyway. That may become a requirement for future tournament play. I don't know.
Huh.
All right, here you go. Double yellows all over the place. Love this setup here. Now you're just kind of waiting on a blue yellow, or just gonna take it. Can't say I blame you there. Hmm. This has been really JB helpful garbage.
And he started off really well. I think he used his yellows better than I did at the start here because he had a pretty good start to the board.
Yeah, but now you're getting things peeled down, and a red blue is exactly what you needed. A double red also would have been good for you, but now you're just getting these setups. Oh, decided to take it. Granted, you're setting up for a red yellow now, so either way, nice L clear. Misdrop. I don't have to ask you. I could see the look on your face. You're you complete your demeanor completely just said, "Nope, that was not where I wanted that."
Yeah.
But honestly, that cross clear really got you out of trouble.
Yeah, when I mean I feel like having those cross players that those help a lot. I
Yeah.
feel like I use those quite a bit.
But again, JB getting you cramped up at the top of your board. And now he's got you talking. Like, oh, okay, yeah, that was tough. That because honestly, I mean, he was playing really well on that board, and
He was playing really well,
yeah,
yeah.
you were
He
in
was
some tough
cruising through that
spots. So, all right, I think we got to skip ahead a bit. Yeah, Don in his. I mean, that is just a spiffy outfit. Gotta say,
board.
Don looking freaking spiffy here.
I did not know there was a dress requirement for the Dr. Mario tournaments.
Neither did anybody else except Don. He looks like he's going to play chess after. Yeah, that was like all the community was talking about anytime he got on, was just look at this outfit on Dawn. It's awesome. All right, we got to find your next match. I'm assuming it's you against Floyd.
Yep, Floyd was next.
Ooh, that's a tough draw.
So, yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the nice thing is like out of these three, I've played these three probably the most.
Yeah,
Out of anybody else in the other than on Fightcade now. But like I said, Floyd and I used to get together, here and play quite a bit. Just even before tournaments, before they started having tournaments. So him and I. I'm familiar with his style of play. Um, and then Don and I, they all came over last year before the Milwaukee tournament, and then we drove together to Columbus. So we played quite a bit together in Columbus. Um, Dave really is the only one. I mean, I've really only played him in tournaments,
Hmm.
but I had to play him in the first three tournaments I was in. So, um, I've played against all three of them enough to kind of know, what their styles are. Um, after it was kind of comfortable tournament actually.
And it's funny you say that about Dave because one of the things that Dave is kind of well known for in the community, I would say, is the fact that he does not do anything but play Dr. Mario when he's at one of these events. Like if there's a
Yeah.
Dr. Mario game going on, Dave is in the middle of it and he's constantly playing the game against other players. So the fact that didn't get a lot of chances to play him, I'm like, how? Who else was he playing? Because he if he saw you there and hadn't played you yet, he'd be like, "Come on, let's do this." That's just Dave's way.
Yeah, yeah. Him and Floyd were practicing when I first got there, and then after quals, I just went and walked around a bit.
Yeah.
Um, so, and then I got there right before the main bracket starts. So that's why we didn't really get to play this year. And even yeah, for some reason in Columbus last year, we had started kind of just a side match, and I think I got called into my pool. My pool started, so then I was like, we didn't even finish the match we started last year. So last year was the first year in Columbus we did not play a full match.
Yeah, he and I got a matchup in the evening of the finals at we just went upstairs to the Airbnb and played a really good like down to the last couple of pills 3-2 sort of match. And I looked at him and I said, "That's the match you deserve to have won this morning." Because he skunked me. It was so cold. It was so cold in Columbus. Like I was in one of the early groups, and I'm just like, why is it so cold in this warehouse that we're stationed in?
Yeah.
I'm not used to that. My blood has thinned out significantly in the 7 years I've lived in Florida. But anyway, this is a great top four. You and Don and Dave and Floyd. That's you can't ask for better than that.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I'm glad Dave made it. I'm glad he was able to come after winning Louisville.
Yeah,
It was nice having him,
got to be careful with that
especially with
bat
Ibar
though.
not.
Yeah, you got to be careful. He's got a Louisville Slugger now, so
Yeah, well, yeah, I said he should have brought it the intimidation factor, you know.
see, I feel like Betty's more the kneecaps player. So, all right, I don't know if this is practice or not. No, this is not
Yeah,
practice.
usually
Let's see. Is
I
it?
think we warmed up a little bit. I can't remember.
You must have been. Yeah. Too bad because this board is gorgeous,
Yeah,
especially up high. There's so much. I can't tell if you guys are practicing or not. I think you are.
we are because I know they kind of before every game they gave us a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Um,
Are you sure?
but yeah, I don't know. Maybe this one is real. I don't know. I can't tell.
Well, let me turn the
Yeah,
mute.
this one is.
Yeah, I can turn the sound
I
on.
say that's real. We didn't play that far down. I didn't play
Right.
like a whole board practice.
In three,
Yep.
2, 1, pills.
Yep. This was definitely it. Okay. So double red.
Big horizontal
Oh,
board.
it's there. We go. I was trying to pause and I ended up unmuting instead. All right. Yeah. So really good starting setup here. Like I said, I love this board. It's so pretty. And I like what you're
So
about to do.
I think I think I definitely misdropped that first double red. I don't think that was intentional.
Well, let's see.
Um,
I mean, I like the play, but again, I've been influenced by Dave and the
yeah,
whole.
I don't think that was. Well, no, wait, that was so yeah, that one's fine. I mean, there was one, I don't know when it must come later than the one that ends up in column three. That's
Yeah,
definitely,
that one I think was yeah, okay.
yeah.
That's when I thought that you were setting up that's when I thought you guys were practicing was because I was like, "Oh, you that's clearly
Yeah.
not a
No, that
setup."
was,
But
yeah, that was just misdropped.
okay.
Um, into column.
Well, it ended up with a gorgeous combo here. And then oh, that's good garbage for you. That's really good garbage for you. Oh, that is not Floyd will let you know that he has the worst luck ever. Uh, but I kind
He
of get
does.
it. He really does.
I feel like his turn. He's got nerves and he's got bad luck at live tournaments.
Yeah, it's not just live tournaments. He gets shafted by speed as well. I've seen it
Does he?
happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but yeah, this is a board that I would love to see playing speed because it's so many doubles, so much just everything is
Right.
set up
Right.
really well.
Yep.
And you were just pulling combos left and right. But yeah, Floyd was just, he was really impressive in the first round. Yeah, okay, yeah, you guys played in the second round. His first round match was over in like 45 seconds, it felt like. The guy just,
All right.
he was so fast. Every pill was just getting slammed down. Uh, it was a sight to behold. We were all just sitting there in the chat going, "What the heck? What is he doing?" It was great. All right.
Yeah. I know on this one I think our second or third game he gets pretty high speed. Um, and I play through it. He kind of made it seem like, oh, that was it, and he keeps going. Um, and I'm glad I played through it because I've seen a lot of people, you know, even though it's high speed, a lot of people still are able nowadays to get out of it,
Yeah.
um, and come back a lot of times.
Yeah. One of the interesting tactics. Leviticus and I were talking about it during while we were talking about his match against Luke again. That's kind of one of the most interesting matches we've seen in a long time. But he said one of the things that he was trying to do was not make combos because it meant that his opponent was again continuing to see more and more pills, and the
Most,
combos were actually slowing down how quickly his speed was going up. And I was like, at a certain point, that has to become the strategy, but I'm not sure when that certain point is.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, and I think he's Leviticus very confident in his speed, and he
Mm-hmm.
can play at super high speed. So I mean, if you're confident that you're can continue, then I think that's a valid strategy. I mean, I feel like that's something I used to do where like, oh, I'll just let them top out. They'll get too quick, but it's hard to do that against like Panban or
Yeah,
Snipe, you know, you, or Swung. They don't they don't seem to top out and they just come back and end up winning, if you I feel like if you play that now.
I mean, just go ahead and name off players that it's hard to do anything against. Uh,
Well,
but
it's I just don't think playing hey, I'm gonna let them lose. It doesn't happen anymore.
yeah, Lev letting us know that that's a corner case strategy. I hope that's the way I presented it. That there is a time when it happens, and until that time, you
Oh
just
yeah,
have to figure it out. But yeah, it's an interesting strategy though, and I mean the fact of the matter is he's right. If you don't make combos, your opponent is going to go faster and faster,
super fast. Yeah.
and as long as they're making combos and you're not in any serious danger of top out, Yeah, it makes good sense. It really does. But yeah, another good solid board clear you're getting here. And 45, 48. Yeah, he's already at 30 more pills than you'd seen. All right, this is going into 3,
I
4.
mean, I feel like the next one, I mean, yeah, I think the next one he gets up to 60,
Good.
and I'm probably low mid 50s, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
again,
he definitely does.
he was slamming those pills down.
Yeah.
I almost paused it to ask what you thought about a tuck play, and then I remembered who I was talking to. Uh, yeah, you had a double red, and there's a play into 7-8 tucked in. It's kind of stock standard for speed if you're a tuck player at all, but
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, wait, I should add. No, never mind. I know the answer to the question, so I'm not going to ask it.
Yeah, I definitely, like I said, I just don't look for him.
Totally.
That's something that's right there. Right there is something I would never have done in the past. If you go back to that blue yellow setup
Yeah,
right here, that I would have never played that before, like that ever.
it's a good setup.
That's new. Yeah, I don't know who I've. I mean, I obviously I copied that from somebody, but that's something I would have never done in the past.
I'm hoping you set the double yellow on top, and then
No, I cleared it. I cleared it
oh,
right away after that.
because you see the
But
double yellow on top would drop
yeah,
down into the
that would
yellows in
make
one. But yeah, I I watched quite a bit of Frank and learned that sometimes I got to be more patient in my play. And that's one of the things that I think I'm erring on the wrong side of now. Oops, see that's a good patience play. Waiting for that red to make the combo with.
yeah,
Yeah, I may be erring on the wrong side of that at this point, where I'm getting too patient when I'm playing
patient.
versus.
Yeah, yeah. I'm still like I said. I play a little bit starting, I'm still kind of in my transition. I still like, I still play a little bit of my old style. But I'm not I don't build up, the eight where some people build everything's a quad, or
I've got
I'm com
I got feelings about quads.
I'm comfortable setting them off as, setting them up, setting them off real quick. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think. I mean, obviously, if you can get one, and there is the fact that with a triple or higher, you're guaranteed to put something in a center column.
Right.
That
Yeah.
that is helpful, but I think a lot of times we put too much focus on getting quads, and that where getting two
Oh, they look,
doubles would make more sense.
yeah. Well, they look cool.
Yeah, of course
You
they
know,
look cool,
it's the, it's, they're
but
not. It's not just that it's a quad. It looks awesome when you pull it off even you pull off a like a Bidwell style
mm-hmm,
eight combo or something. It doesn't do anything extra, but it looks cool.
right. I mean, there is that, and Betty and I have discussed the fact that I think of both of us as magpies when it comes to this game. We're always trying to do the sparkly stuff, even when it's a bad
Yeah.
idea. But yeah, I think there's something to be said a lot of times for taking combos in doubles and triples to a lesser degree, but taking two doubles instead of waiting for a full quad because you're probably doing it with fewer pills, less thought, and you're getting double the amount of drop time.
Yeah.
But I like everything else in this game. I think sometimes you just have to have a balance, and I don't know what that balance is.
Well, and then if you start thinking like Dave or some of the other players where, hey, I'm gonna start timing these to spread them out, you could, you
Hmm.
could start to play that, start to incorporate that a little bit better too.
Exactly, and that's I don't know. It's there's so many different factors, and I with as complex as this game can really get, I don't know that we're ever going to get the answer. I think we're going to keep playing around with different ideas, and you're going to see different things keep cropping up. Um, but who knows? Who knows what we're going to decide is the next right way to do things? It's getting late for me, so I'm like starting to wax philosophic, I guess.
That- That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, because so you can see he starts to get a little bit, I think, a little bit faster in this game.
Yeah, he's already up to 20 pills more than you've got.
Yeah.
And I can definitely see where you're taking an extra second, making sure that you're putting stuff down in the right place, which I associate more dimwit as a player, but that's a whole nother side of things. Oh, are you going to set it up? Are you going to be able to set it up? That's the question. You want that fat log.
I do. Yeah, I think that's the goal. I think I set it up with these.
Nope.
Yeah, I had to just take it.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't want to do that, but
And then, yeah, I mean, the setup's there. You just kind of got to get rid of this last blue. But it is nice to know that you get your garbage set up, and there, in fact, there it's coming because I can't see any world in which you don't do that.
well, I don't take it. So what what I was trying to, and I know I got confused here. I wanted to drop the blue down and get the red,
Hmm.
but and then I just ended up leaving it there. I think I eventually take it, but I was my goal was to I should have played a blue yellow or like a double blue in there to get that red.
Mm.
And for some reason I just remember, you know, getting confused as we're playing, and then I eventually just take it.
Yeah, it just looked pretty well useless. Oh, yeah, that that yellow blue did not go where you were thinking it was going. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I just saw it and I went, okay, well, this has become useless. Now it can just become a combo.
That's what I should have did with in the beginning, but I just for I feel like we were playing so quick, and after I didn't take it immediately, it just kind of sat there, and I forgot what to do with it, type of thing.
Six. Okay, I'm pretty sure that was a uh, six drop stun lock, and now that's a
Yeah, and this is
two,
where
three.
yeah, you can see he's already 50 pills ahead of me.
Yeah, whew, he just hit 60. Well, that's because he's done like a seven and a three stun lock on you. You haven't had time to get that many
Yeah.
pills out. Yeah, this new Floyd with like just the hyper emphasis on speed is terrifying because he's already a solid versus player. This is a whole nother level for him. I can see I can see that you're wanting to set these yellows up or these reds up horizontally, and the plan is
Yeah,
just not presenting itself. Oh wow. Okay, well that combo worked.
it came through. This is part of game I need, if I get into positions like this, I do get flustered, and it's something that it happens. Where it's like, okay, how am I going to finish this? Well,
Hmm.
the other guys, and I think I do clear this one out eventually, but it comes together. But it's something I can improve on for sure.
I don't know of anybody who couldn't except for our top players. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that garbage. Oh, that was so nice for you.
Yeah.
But
Got
yeah,
a little luck.
I don't think anybody is sitting there going, yeah, I'm perfectly fine with my level of being able to handle late game situations like this. It's
Yeah.
all of us are thinking this is something I gotta fix, but only when we get in
Yeah,
the
I get
situation.
lucky here where it was set up the blue
Mm-hmm.
drops and clears the blue right away. Kind of that was nice.
Yeah.
Um
Oh, nice first pill. Yeah, that was really nice setup for the first. And you're shaking your head like that yellow blue is a misdrop, but I see how it can work for you. Not if he keeps dropping all this garbage on you, but I mean at this point all these combos are just making sense. Ooh, tough quad. Yeah, you had the same look on your face that I just had. It was like, oh, okay, this is a thing that's happening now.
yeah.
Oh, and he's gonna charity clear for you.
Yeah. That was like, got lucky with the double yellow there that cleared that one out right immediately. That cross.
Nope. There's the ad I've been expecting for a hot minute. Oh, okay. It's a 4 ad break. I am so sorry. That's what I get for not having not being subscribed to the DRMC. It's fine. We're providing money for the DRMC
Yes, yeah.
by forcing ourselves to watch Jennifer Coolidge. All right. So who would you say was the toughest match that you had over the course of Milwaukee?
Uh, I mean, I, I feel like Floyd. I think Floyd was a little bit tougher than Don um this time around. Um and like I said, I mean it kind of lined up perfectly because I've played both of them,
Yeah.
just sidebar enough to know kind of where I sit against them and how to play them. So, um I mean, when I played Don, I feel like in Columbus we played a ton, and then the night before we were playing a lot. Um, so I'm very comfortable playing it against him. I feel like so it was kind of I was kind of glad to see him in the final because
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of the nerves that I might have. um, but yeah, I feel like Floyd was a tough match.
Yeah. It's interesting how often that turns out to be the case that the one that players kind of mention is the toughest match they had in a tournament doesn't turn out to be the one that that either beat them or well the winners don't always say that it's the second place player.
Yeah,
It's not that uncommon actually. I think Packy played Doc one year and said that was the toughest match he had that year. I think that was 22 maybe.
yeah. And it's not always that the other player. There's styles that
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you just don't match up well against. There's a couple players that I'd prefer not to play against them because I feel like stylistically they're a bad match for me.
Gotcha.
Um,
Is this the old you or the new you though?
it's still, I just think
I'm just giving you a hard time.
it's yeah.
Is it? It's going to be interesting now that I know that you've been, really focusing on changing your style up a little bit. I don't want to say improving, considering that you've literally taken a top four like 3 out of the last 4 years. But yeah, you definitely you've been honing your game. Let's say it's
Yeah.
going to be interesting seeing what that looks like, at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, well, I feel like I said, I feel like I'm a better player, but so is everybody else.
Yeah.
Everybody's much better than they were 3 years ago. So you almost have to be continuously improving, um, just to even kind of stay where you think you should be or
Hmm.
where you were in past years.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing that in speed. Just the whole community. It's that's not the drop you wanted. Yeah, the whole community is just at a point where a lot of us are just struggling to stay exactly where we were.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I feel like, the first year I went, it was kind of nice. Nobody knew who I was. Like, like you said, this one, that people don't see me but a couple years, but everybody when I go to Columbus, they know who I am now.
Yeah.
Whereas the first year, no, it was nobody knew. It was kind of nice. There was no pressure. Um, and I myself I did have a goal for top four. Just from practicing and watching other people's speed runs, I kind of knew I could make that was a realistic goal.
Hmm.
Um, so I made it there and lost to Ibar, who I did at the time I didn't know who Ibar was. So I remember in that quadrant, it was he beat Watchma right
Hmm.
before, and it was Watchma who I was actually like, oh man, I hopefully somebody beats him, so I don't have to, to face him. But then it ended up being Ironbar anyway. So,
Yeah.
um, but then the second year I went, and obviously I had made top four, so my goal was all right. Let's make it to the final this year, and it was like, oh, and then just the number of people that have improved, it was like, wow, okay. And then the third year, I was like, I don't even know if I'll make top eight this year, you know?
Yeah.
And just happened to have a good bracket run, but um, that's how much I feel like everybody's improved. It's gone to, well, it just kind of depends on how you get seated and who you're against and where you kind of match up on with everybody in your quadrant, I feel like.
Yeah. That's definitely fair. That's part of why I ended up. I think I'm the number 49 in last year's pool, and literally it's because I ended up, you know, taking a 3-0 loss to Dave Smith, and I mean, I don't begrudge it. It's just, and you could end up anywhere. Oh wow, Floyd looks like he's giving up. It's hard to. I know he's
So
not, but
yeah, this is he sits back and then he continues to play. Um, I keep playing because I'm like, well, he's still going. So
yeah, oh yeah, definitely. You go till the whistle blows in this game.
yeah,
But yeah, his whole demeanor changed. It was is weird. Okay, there he goes.
yeah, he did kind of give up. He kind of thought he was done, and then I think there was a surprise kind of drop that kept him in it a little bit longer.
Yeah,
But yeah, he just you could tell he was kind of upset with the way things were at that point.
yeah. But here we are, you and Dawn, the player you know the best at this point.
Yeah, in this tournament, he's definitely the player I've played the most.
Yeah, and one, two, three, four, five. So yeah, 5 out of the 8 top seeds here are people that we know from the community. It's always nice with with a tournament this size.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if I can get to it. They took a break and a half, didn't they?
Yeah, I think there was an ad break.
That makes sense. Okay, let's.
Here we go. Then let's do a count.
Okay, yeah. So here comes the countdown. And okay. Starting pill is a double red. You thinking 3?
I think I lay it flat
Okay.
on
On 6,
six
7.
seven.
Yeah, it's a hard decision. Well, that definitely makes it easier.
Yeah, the yeah.
And then you got the yellow blue coming right up after it. Oh yeah, this is a setup. And then more setups. Wow. That was a crazy top out.
Yeah, I mean, he got a bad piece of trash right up the center,
But I
bad
mean,
timing.
you played the board perfectly. There's
Yeah.
really it was a really good board, and speed and versus both ways. It was perfect for both. I mean, this is the way I would have set it up for a speed play too. It's just everything snapped right through. You had a place for every pill. Everything started making combos. It was perfect. So, just lucked out with the garbage on his side. But yeah, overall,
Yeah,
you did play it as well as you possibly could have. Wait, was that
yeah,
the
and that
tuck
was
play?
I mean,
Go ahead.
no, so there's a tuck play at the end of this, I think on the fourth or game we play
Gotcha.
at the end. But it's that obviously having the crown and being one up right away, it makes a big difference too, just mentally.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Ex-
I mean,
getting a win, especially that quickly, it just it's a relief.
the fact that it's best of 5 instead of best of 3 is helpful. But yeah, so much of speed play. The first 2 rounds of speed are always best of 3, and when you take that first loss, you just sit there and your eyes kind of bug out for a second because you realize can't make another
You
mistake.
got to win out.
And
Yeah.
even when you're one
Yeah.
up, you're sitting there going, "Don't screw this up! Don't screw this up! Don't screw this up!" But all right, combo. Oh, he forces one. But again, yeah, you're playing everything just as well as you can right here. Now you just need this red to show up, and you're playing with fire, sir. Okay,
Yeah.
good
Yeah,
setup though.
that's something I wouldn't have done ever.
And yet here we are. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. It's just keeping up with the game,
Yeah.
and kind of where our community has gotten in playing versus. It's a whole new game, which I think is a better motto for us than "We're not Tetris."
Yeah, yeah. I think you're right there.
Or no, it's not just like Tetris. Also, the motto we've been considering that not really. There's no consideration of an official motto.
I was I was
Oh,
watching eScouts video from 2 years ago,
mm-hmm.
and one of the comments was, "Oh, I like how all the Dr. Mario players are either people who've played all their lives or just didn't want to join the Tetris scene, or were afraid of the new Tetris scene or something like that. I'm like,
I will
I guess
say,
that's kind of fair.
yeah, I started out. I didn't know about anything until the CTWC from, was it 18 when, or not, it's 16 when Jonas lost to Joseph. I didn't even realize
Okay, yeah,
that competitive retro gaming existed until then, and I was like, oh, I could actually play this.
yeah.
Okay, let's see how you get.
And then
Oh, nicely done. Yeah, at that point it was still feasible, and within like 2 years it was not in any way
yeah, possible.
something feasible.
Definitely, I definitely couldn't play that anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got pretty. See, that's the type of move that if I could have played that in the qualifying, that was basically the same type of move that I should have did in the qualifying one I lost.
all right. Hard to say what's going on here. Yeah, Dawn is in the chat, but I have a 10-minute timeout on my chat for personal reasons, and so he won't be able to defend himself before we're done watching, I'm afraid, but we'll find out. Oh, there's a
Well,
really
like I
nice
said, I think
combo.
this one I had a few lucky quick plays, and when everything was built up there, I had a lot of setups that just went, and you can see, once they went, then he's stacked up now
Yeah.
because of it. But
At
I
this
mean, I
point,
did. There was a
no, keep going.
but
Keep going.
I was gonna say, I just that first he had me topped out at the beginning, and I had a real quick
Mm-hmm.
around. I was able to get around and bring it down pretty quickly. But, that's not something you can always do.
So, at what point do you look at your opponent's board and go, it's time for me to just turn on the speed?
Not here. I feel like if I'm gonna start doing that, it's much lower. Um,
Oh, to be fair,
I gotta be.
when I was going to start asking that question, you were quite a bit lower. The garbage has started
Yeah.
stacking up since then, but
Well, I mean, even virus count lower, not board
okay.
lower. I feel like I'd want to be down into maybe low teens or
Okay.
even single digits before I start thinking that way.
Because that's a tendency I have is, okay, I see that I'm ahead. Let me just turn on the jets. And because I'm fairly convinced that for most players, if I can turn it into a speed based game, I can win. But for most,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
I mean the reason I don't do that anymore is, if again, I try to take experiences from past tournaments is, a lot of matches I'll be up, and I'll be up by 10, 20 viruses, and you'll get down to this 20, this mid 20, and all of a sudden that's when the other person starts kicking in the combos, and all of a
mm-hmm.
sudden you can't move, and then all of a sudden your board's stacked up, and it's because you stopped comboing and just focused on speed.
And
Um,
that's the question, because that has happened to me as well. And I'm trying to figure out when the right time is to kind of kick
yeah,
that in.
so I try to hold off now as long as possible because I've had that happen to me a lot in the past.
Yeah, it feels like there should be a balance though, because at a certain point, all the combos are doing is just slowing your opponent down and reducing your likelihood of actually finishing the board. And if they're already halfway down and not really at a high risk of losing, then you're going to a war of attrition, and you're, just kind of waiting to see who's going to top out first, when, maybe you could have knocked the board out. I don't know. These are just the questions I'm trying to solve on my own while we're
Yeah.
talking about this.
At different times. counterpoints. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's something that I used to try to do, and it's still, I think it works against certain players,
Hmm.
especially if you're ahead of another speedrun player
Hmm.
and you know they're not very combo heavy, then I think it is the right play. But if you know it's somebody that's gonna they're gonna be focusing on combos, and as soon as you get your board to that state, they're gonna combo you where you
Hmm.
it's just gonna start to build up, and you can't do anything because the drop it takes 3 seconds for a piece of garbage to drop down. Um,
Yeah.
that's where I've gotten in trouble. Um,
Yeah, me too.
and
I've
I
I've been burned by that exact situation.
so I think it's kind of knowing your opponent's style plays into that as well. A decision.
Yeah. Yeah, you can look at my match against the Dave last year in Louisville. He beat me, but it literally there was so little comboing going on. It was just two players playing speed against each other, and neither
Yeah.
like I think we both recognized it, but neither one could turn it off. We were having trouble kind of getting to that point.
And
Our
if that's your style and you know the other person, it's fun. And if you think, hey, I'm faster than you, I'm going to beat you with the speed. I don't think, like I said, that's recognizing how the other person plays, and then you're going to play your game the way you want to. Um,
No, I think both of us were thinking, man, this isn't the way I wanted to play this game, and we just couldn't find it. It was the board that I'm thinking of. I'm pretty sure we were just both having a lot of trouble finding combos, and
yeah.
it turned into this
When that,
whole, well, again, it was a war of attrition.
yeah, that happens too, where you just get, I mean, that's kind of a scary feeling where you're like, why am I not comboing? And then the whole time you're thinking, okay, they're gonna just start raining on me, and then it doesn't come because it's just a bad combo board.
Yeah.
So, but that's kind of a eerie feeling when you're always expecting if you're not comboing, the other person's going to be, and
Hmm.
sometimes it's just a bad board and nobody can combo.
Yeah. So it's interesting, but that's one of the questions I'm always trying to find an answer to is, at what point should I start playing it? At what point do you just start sprinting towards the finish line? And I don't expect to ever find the right answer, but it's definitely something. Oh man, that blue garbage was just not friendly for you. Um, but yeah, it's one of those things I'm always curious about where people stand on it. And yeah, some of the like it feels like this is a board for you where the combos just aren't hitting the way you want them to, and Dawn is somewhere finding the combos, and I don't know. It's hard to tell if you're frustrated or not because
Yeah, I think this one. I mean, this is the end of the one where I missed the tuck. This is the one. Yeah, I think this was frustrating for me.
you can definitely tell that you're concentrating more heavily than you have been for most of the tournament. But yeah, like I said, it's hard to say that it's as frustrating, but you're saying it is, so I'm gonna say it must be. Blue vertical, blue vertical. Yeah, there you go. All right. I do this when I'm watching just like live play. I'm like, come on, find this, do that, see this. Oh, and he is completely umbrellaed over in his column 7 and 8.
Yeah, he's this was, obviously I think I knew he was ahead of me the whole
Mm-hmm.
time, and it was me trying to play catch up here.
Yeah, you were hoping for a fat log with a lord
Yeah.
below it there,
Yep,
and
that
it just
one right.
yeah, it just wasn't going to be a thing.
Just take it.
And honest, yeah, I was gonna say I think the decision to just go for the combo was the right one. There's just no and no better option at that point. But yeah, now it's 20 to 12, and oh, okay. Like I don't see what you're doing, but now I see what you're doing.
Yeah, that was I mean that build up again. That's
Well, the blues are going to have to be horizontal on the bottom if you get there. So
I don't know I don't know how I get to that part, but yeah, it's the column 8 is what I remember.
yeah, I mean that's a tough column eight. But again, you're looking at the option of hitting some horizontals and not having to worry about, oh wow, fortuitous garbage. Not having to worry about anything dropping down on top of it because you've got, it's stacked to the ceiling. Could be worse. Another fortuitous garbage.
Yeah, those are always nice when you get that.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Okay. I like that plan. I like for you the fact that you didn't get anything to block up this potential fat log either. Oh, spoke too soon.
So we're at 50, which is okay. It's moving.
And I will point out that as opposed to the last matchup, you are now the one with the higher virus speed.
A little quicker. Yeah.
Not by a lot, but it is non zero. Do you ever employ an umbrella strat?
Um, I mean, I don't intentionally if it happens because somebody's so quick that they stack up, then I just like I said, I'll leave it there till the end.
Gotcha.
Um, but I've never intentionally set one up.
The only reason I ask
It's
is you had that triple of blues that was waiting for you to kind of clear stuff out of the way so that you could drop a red into column 5 and make a horizontal. And I'm like, at some point, do you maybe just go, okay, I'm going to stack up a couple next to it and then umbrella over the top? This is the tuck. This is the tuck you miss.
well, so here's what, if
Yeah.
you go back a few frames, this is where I messed up. I waited for some reason I didn't put like a pill before that, or even two pills before that. That was open. I should have filled it in with
So
something.
here,
So if I got, yeah, well, no, once I cleared it out, it's open. I can put like I should have put this,
oh,
you know,
literally anything
one of
else
these two.
down there.
Anything else, and I waited for
Gotcha.
whatever reason, and then a double blue comes, I would have been set.
Yeah.
But now the double blue comes, and I'm like, oh, okay, now I got to tuck in. I miss it, of course. And it's quick where I know we're close. Like I don't know exactly what his board looks like, but I know he's down to, you know, and you got the commentators kind of being like, oh, it's 4-2, and it's like, oh shit, now I really
Yeah.
gotta speed this up.
And the commentary, I have feelings about the commentary being that close to the players too, especially from
Well, so
being a commentator. It makes it tough for me.
yeah. So this one I this tournament wasn't that bad because the way it was set up they were far enough away where you couldn't hear most of it. So I did bring headphones this and I didn't wear them at all in the tournament because it wasn't an issue. Except for I could hear a little bit of this one. But for the most part, Yeah, I don't like to hear it.
Yeah, and as a commentator, one of the things that I hate about it is I feel like I run a higher risk of of affecting the gameplay. I don't want to affect the gameplay. I want to let it play out and explain to other people what's going on. So like in speed, if they're listening, they're listening. They can choose not to.
Yeah, they
In
can choose,
versus,
yeah.
it's right in your face, and I don't always like that. In fact, I don't ever like that. So
Well, like I said, I mean, if I didn't want to, I did bring headphones this year, and I ended up just not using them because it wasn't really necessary the way the setup was the most of the time. So, and I did like the trophy. I really once they posted that I was like, oh man, I really want to win that trophy. So that's uh if you're not from Milwaukee, the bridge is the home bridge into downtown. So I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool trophy.
I was just gonna ask, where did it end up?
It's in my it's all I work from home. I in my basement. It's right next to all of my other Dr. Mario memorabilia from I've got my patches and all my other stuff that I've accumulated
Nice.
throughout the years.
Yeah, this is the first year that I've driven to Louisville instead of flying, and I was like, well, if there's ever a year to win it, this is the one because there's no way on earth I'll be able to fly this Louisville Slugger. I fly Spirit, so I can't bring any size carry on anyway, and
Yeah, yeah.
how am I going to get a baseball bat into an airplane?
You'd have to have somebody hang on to it
Yep.
until Columbus.
But then I fly to Columbus too, so it's. But that's all right. I got the wife interested, so now we drive everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, GG's on that for sure. Anything you want to add? Anything you want to say about the play, the tournament, anything?
No, I think tournaments are great. I love that we have regionals. I hope they continue into the future. And I definitely look forward to Cincinnati. I know it sounds like we're gonna maybe try a little bit of a new, yeah, I don't know, bracket or however it is, just because it's gonna be nothing but Dr. Mario. So look
Yeah,
forward to it, and thanks for having me on.
of course. And good luck in the immunity pool. Of course, you've got John Depp Flindo, Chris Bidwell, and Dave Smith are already locked into that pool with you. So it's going to be an interesting one, especially because we've also got SoCal and gosh, I don't even know where else. Well, I've got the Discord. I can just look. SoCal, Philly, Hartford as well. So going to be really interesting to see what we've got coming up.
Yeah, yeah. See who makes it.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, thank you to my guest Rodzilla for hanging out. It's been a lot of fun. I hope everybody learned something. I know I did.
All right.
But with that, we're going to say thanks to everybody for watching and hope you guys have a good night. Till next time, as always, be good, be safe, be happy, and we'll see you again soon.